Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So every Monday for the past several weeks, I've been giving you guys an update on the pending so-called assault weapons ban and magazine capacity ban cases that are currently sitting before the Supreme Court. As you guys know, those cases have gone to conference multiple times now, and we've been waiting to see exactly what the Supreme Court is going to do with them. We know that one of the cases, the Maryland case, was actually just denied, and then we have several cases that are still left out of the state of Illinois. I believe there's actually 4, maybe 5 left there. So we're going to talk about what happened on last Thursday's conference because the results of that conference just came out today. Let's talk about it. This video is proud to be sponsored by American Hartford Gold. Listen, if there is one thing that those of us in the firearms community understand, it's that you cannot rely on the government for your protection. Not with your life, and especially not with your wealth. Look, throughout our lifetime, the dominance of the US dollar was unquestioned, but that may be changing. As we face unprecedented inflation, the world's biggest economies are ditching the dollar for the yen. Banks are failing left and right, and the government is discussing a total control of all of your money with the new digital dollar. Don't let your life savings become a casualty of failing corporations or currency wars. Now is the time to call the only precious metal dealer that I trust, American Hartford Gold. They'll show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your wealth portfolio with physical gold and silver. With the finest products, amazing customer service, and a buyback commitment. American Hartford Gold has a 5-star rating from thousands of reviews and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. American Hartford Gold supports content like this that is committed to bringing you the truth. Tell them I sent you and they'll give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. So call them now. Click the link in the description or call 866-856-2507. That's 866-856-2507 or text COPPER to 65532. Again, that's 866-856-2507 or text COPPER to 65532. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here, and I cannot overstate how important these cases are. A win in any one of these cases would have massive nationwide implications. It would essentially moot all cases that exist in the lower courts right now in different states to overturn a state ban. Like we've been waiting on Duncan and Miller in the state of California out of the Ninth Circuit for the better part of a decade now. We have been waiting for a long time to hear about those. It would make those cases moot because California's law could no longer exist. It would overturn the laws that they have in New York, in Illinois, and any other state that had some type of semi-auto ban or any type of magazine capacity restrictions. It would overturn all of those. So again, this is like the answer to our prayers if we were able to get a good decision out of one of these cases. And the fact that we have multiple does kind of, help the odds a little bit. Now, the problem is we have failed over the years to get one of these cases before the Supreme Court. We had a case go up from the state of California. It was a very important case, would have been perfect for the Supreme Court to take on, but it was one of those things where they kind of waited for Bruin. Post-Bruin, they granted, vacated, and remanded it back down to the Ninth Circuit, and the Ninth Circuit started their games all over again, where they even sent it back down to the district court level, and it basically started all over again. So getting one of these cases before the Supreme Court and getting the Supreme Court basically to tell all of the inferior courts, the lower courts, that, hey, you're doing this wrong, you are not interpreting Bruin correctly in Second Amendment cases, that has been the biggest challenge. So that brings us to the cases that are currently before the Supreme Court. We have been waiting, I have been waiting, I know that a lot of you have been waiting every single Monday to find out whether or not they've decided to take on one of these cases. And each week they decide to push them off to the next conference. So these conferences are held on Thursdays. That's when they determine what cases they're going to deny, which cases they're going to vacate, which cases they're going to take up. Thursday is when everything happens, and then the report comes out on Monday. So we got the latest report today, and they didn't deny, they didn't GVR, they didn't grant any of the cases that they heard in the Second Amendment realm last Thursday. So basically what that means is that all of these cases that are currently out of Illinois are going to be rescheduled for conference again on the 6th. So just this Thursday in a few days, they're going to be held for conference one more time. Now, there's some good news and some bad news with that. The good news is, obviously, they didn't deny any of them. They didn't GVR any of them. They didn't send anything back down to the lower courts. As a matter of fact, all of these cases are kind of lumped together. They consider them, similar cases, so they're kind of looking at them, from the same lens, basically. But none of these cases were sent back down. So that actually gives me a little bit of hope that eventually we're going to see them take up at least one. But, we'll still see what happens. At this point, again, another Monday. This is going to be the fourth time that these cases have gone to conference. So the fourth time. Now, like I said in earlier videos, the people that work behind the scenes, so all the assistants to all of the Supreme Court justices, they do a lot of the research on these things. They give that research to the justice and they kind of look at stuff and they go over everything. Sometimes these things take a lot of research, what's out there, what's being done, what's being said. We have a lot of different courts and dissenting opinions and stuff like that that need to be looked at in these. So it is possible that they've just extended their research out before actually taking this up, and whether or not any other case that they're currently seeing is going to have any impact on the future of these cases as well, to kind of see if anything, cross-references in any way. So it is still very possible that they'll take one of these up. The bad news would have been if I got in front of the camera today and said, hey, look, they GVR'd 2 of them, they denied 2 of them. The Supreme Court has decided that they're not going to take up any of these cases. That would have been the worst video. And while it still feels that way because they didn't decide to hear any, that's not what happened. What happened is they moved them to conference, and that still gives us some hope that they might take one of these on. So again, it's not great news, it's not bad news, it's just kind of no news. It's the same as it was last week. But I'll tell you this, next Monday you guys are going to see me in front of the camera, and I'm going to tell you what happened on this Thursday's conference, and hopefully that time, it will be incredible news, hearing that the Supreme Court has decided to take at least one of them. I mean, they could take all of them if they wanted to, but more than likely they'll take one of them, maybe even 2 of them. We'll see what happens, but that's my hope, is that I'll get in front of the camera next Monday and give you guys that incredible news that we've all been waiting for, because we know if the Supreme Court actually does decide to take one of these up, just based on the things that they said in Bruin and existing Supreme Court precedent in Heller, that there's no way these bans would hold up. And the Supreme Court needs to act. They need to do something, because right now what they're allowing the lower courts to do is violate our constitutional rights. The Supreme Court is rewording Bruin. They're intentionally defying Bruin. I mean, they're causing a lot of problems. And in the meantime, people's rights are being withheld. And, we can't stand for that. The Supreme Court shouldn't stand for that. And so we need them to speak up on this issue and put these lower courts in their place. There's a reason why they're called the inferior courts. They are beholden to the decisions of the Supreme Court. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Another Monday update on these Supreme Court cases. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. You have a great day. I know I mentioned this quite a bit, but more than half the people that watch these videos are still not yet subscribed. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It only takes a second, but it really helps us expand and grow and get our message out to more people. If you're somebody that wants to stay on top of your constitutional rights, go ahead and hit that little alarm bell. I've been doing this for about 12 years now, and we're going to keep pushing forward. So a huge thank you to everybody that supported this channel up until this point, and a thank you to everybody who subscribes today. Let's get to it.